All right, so you guys have been sending in a ton of stuff about this whole Israel-Iran thing.
Yeah.
News articles and analyses and even some pretty intense social media posts.
It's everywhere right now.
So we are going to deep dive into this whole thing and try to unpack what is really going on.
Absolutely.
We're going to look at where things could go from here and why you should care, even if you are, thousands of miles away.
It's one of those situations that can seem really far away, but it can have ripple effects.
Totally. And, it's a really complex situation.
Yeah.
And it's got this long and really tangled history.
Uh-huh.
So we're here to kind of cut through the noise and give you the insights that you need
Exactly.
to understand what's really at stake.
Yeah.
So first things first, we got to talk about these alleged Israeli strikes inside Iran.
Right.
I mean, this is not something you see every day.
Well, not at all.
This is not just some random flare-up, right?
Definitely not. I mean, these strikes seem to be targeting places that are linked to Iran's nuclear program. And importantly, their drone production stuff.
Oh, wow.
Which I think shows that this was a calculated move by Israel.
Interesting.
Probably driven by worries about Iran's, growing power in the region and their, advancements in military tech.
That makes sense. But Iran's response has been pretty intense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, calling Israel a cancerous tumor is not exactly trying to calm things down.
No, it's definitely inflammatory. It's like they're trying to get support at home and show that they are serious about hitting back. You got to remember, there's a lot of pressure on the Iranian leaders to respond strongly.
Oh, for sure.
And this plays right into the hands of those hardliners who want to make Israel look like the ultimate enemy.
Yeah, it feels like we've got a tinderbox over there in the Middle East.
You could say that.
And judging from how much it's in the news, everyone's watching.
Yeah.
BBC, CNN, Times of Israel. Everyone's talking about it.
For sure. I mean, it's a huge international concern. The U.S. is asking everyone to chill out. European countries are pushing for diplomacy.
Right.
It feels like everyone's trying to stop this from getting out of control.
And for good reason.
Yeah.
I mean, if this boils over, the consequences could be devastating.
Absolutely. And it's not just about conflict in the region. Think about what it would do to the world economy.
Oh, yeah.
If there's a major conflict in the Middle East, it could mess up oil supplies.
Oh, that's a good point.
Which means energy prices go through the roof. We could be looking at recessions, political instability.
Wow.
It's a real domino effect.
So yeah, things could go south real fast.
Yeah.
But what are the most likely scenarios here?
Okay.
So what could the future hold?
Best case scenario is we see some limited strikes.
Oh.
Maybe like a tit for tat thing that doesn't get bigger.
Okay.
But that's kind of risky.
Yeah.
It depends on both sides being careful, which isn't exactly guaranteed.
Right.
A more worrying possibility is that we see a proxy war.
A proxy war. Remind me what that means.
So basically, instead of fighting Israel directly, Iran could use its allies, groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon or different Shia militias in Iraq.
Right.
These groups could attack Israel and escalate things without Iranian troops being directly involved.
Oh, wow.
Which makes it
tricky.
Yeah, much harder to contain and makes the region even more unstable.
And the worst case scenario, I'm guessing, is
a full-on war between Israel and Iran.
Yikes.
A total nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
We're talking potentially massive casualties and destruction.
Right.
Not to mention the global fallout politically and economically. We could be looking at a humanitarian crisis.
Oh, wow.
And the whole Middle East thrown into chaos.
So some pretty serious dangers here.
Yeah.
What should people be looking out for as this develops?
Okay, so keep an eye on any official statements from both governments.
Okay.
If they start using more aggressive language or threats, that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Also, watch for any military movements on both sides.
Yeah, like what kinds of movements?
Troop deployments, naval activity, missile tests, things like that.
Okay.
And last but not least, watch how the international community reacts.
Gotcha.
Are they making any progress with diplomacy? Are countries putting sanctions on anyone or calling for everyone to calm down?
Okay.
These are all important clues.
So we've talked about how bad things could get.
Yeah.
But is there any hope for a peaceful way out of this?
It's a tough one, but there are some options.
Okay.
One is reviving the Iran nuclear deal.
Okay.
It's not perfect, but it could be a starting point for more talks and, help them start trusting each other again.
But even if that happens, it doesn't really fix the military tension right now, right?
That's true. That's where confidence building measures come in.
Okay, what are those?
So those are like concrete things both sides can do to make it less likely that someone miscalculates or things accidentally escalate.
Okay.
Like being more open about military activities or even letting each other inspect sensitive places.
So basically ways to be less secretive.
Exactly.
And it would be helpful to bring in other countries in the region too, right?
Absolutely. Everyone has a reason to want to stop this from blowing up.
Right.
What we need is a bigger regional security dialogue.
Okay.
This would bring everyone to the table.
Okay.
Not just Israel and Iran, but Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Egypt, everyone.
Makes sense.
To talk about the root causes of this tension. It's a long shot, but it's the best way to find a solution that lasts.
So to bring this back to you, our listener, this isn't just some abstract, geopolitical game.
Yeah.
What's going on between Israel and Iran can really affect your life, from gas prices to how stable the global economy is.
Exactly.
So stay informed, stay curious, and stay engaged.
Yeah.
This is one story you really don't want to ignore.
And here's something for you to think about.
Okay.
If you were in the room with the Israeli and Iranian leaders, how would you try to get them to see eye to eye?
That's a good question.
What common ground could you find? It's a tough one, but worth thinking about.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks.